Welcome to the Value Wrestling Podcast. I'm the big time BT Baller here to give you the best value in pro wrestling, sports entertainment today. We are here to be a part of the IWC community, the best. We vow the value back in wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Value Wrestling Podcast. I'm the big time BT Baller, and I'm flying solo tonight because this is a big time rant, and I'm going to rant big time. And if you knew what I knew, and you haven't been sleeping under rocks, you'd be ranting too. Because tonight we're going to go over Retribution, which has the whole IWC, the Internet Wrestling community, in an uproar, and should have every wrestling fan, whether they're long-term or casual fans, whether they're a smart mark or not, also up in an uproar. This past Monday Night Raw, we opened and closed with Retribution, and we saw the joke that slowly became Retribution. And Vince McMahon, you should be ashamed of yourself, because if the buck stops with you, then this falls at your feet. And Bruce Pritchard, you're just as guilty too, because you're allowing this crap to happen. And if you think this crap is entertaining, Vince, then I'm sorry to tell you, Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, but it's time to go. It's time to let the reins go. It's time to give it to somebody who cares. Give it to somebody who wants to make it work. I mean, I don't know if that's Shane. I don't know if that's Triple H. I don't know if that's Stephanie. Or I don't know if you just sell the whole damn thing off to somebody else and let them have an opportunity with it. But Vince McMahon, you've obviously decided that you do not like professional wrestling anymore. And that is a fact. We were introduced to 5 members of Retribution this week. In the opening of Monday Night Raw, we met 5 members of Retribution. Now, it wasn't until later in the show, in the 6-man tag that was featured Retribution against the Hurt Business, that we came to know the names of at least 3 of the 5 stars in Retribution. But the names are a complete joke. Like, this is kindergarten writing. I mean, WrestleVotes came out with a tweet talking about how there are sources saying that in the backstage people are laughing at the names and the mask of Retribution. That this has become a joke in the backstage area. And if that's a fact, then Vince McMahon must think this is a complete joke and think this is entertaining because it's funny and spit on all wrestling fans. And that's exactly what he's doing. Because he took 5 major stars in NXT and demoted them, and I will not say promoted them up, didn't give them a call up. No, they got demoted down to the main roster. They got demoted down to Monday Night Raw. In the beginning, yes, Retribution was both on SmackDown and Raw, and they were raising havoc, and we were building a storyline which could have been very interesting. But then, about a week ago, they were cut from SmackDown and said they're going to be Raw exclusives. And then this week, they come out and announce that they officially gotten contracts with WWE. These 5 members who've been held back, who've been held down, who've been unable to be given the opportunity to grab the brass rings, who were being held back by other stars, who were looked past as other stars got quote-unquote promoted to the main roster and they had to sit back and watch. But these are 5 stars that are coming up from NXT, so it makes no sense in storyline or any version why they would all of a sudden have contracts when they were already under contract, except the fact of the matter that we're supposed to look at these 5 members with their new characters, their new personas, their new names, and remember nothing of them. Like, we're not supposed to make the connection of NXT, which is totally ridiculous. This is where storyline logic goes nuts. This is where storyline logic goes out the window. This is where all logic goes out the wrestling and professional wrestling. And I don't get how this makes sense. I don't know how you can show us a brand like NXT where you're creating stars and then bring them immediately, not even like take them off TV in NXT and make them disappear for a little while and then promote them up and bring them out. But you're going to take stars from NXT, bring them up immediately, and tell us that they're no longer these people. And I don't care what mask you do, what haircuts you give them, what you do to change them. We know who these characters are. These people in the IWC were already figured out who these characters were before they were even unmasked. And now we know for a fact that the 5 members, the 5 main members right now of Retribution are none other than Dio Madden, Shane Thorne, Dominic Dijakovic, Mia Yim, and Mercedes Martinez, excuse me. So, 5 big stars in NXT. These were 5 characters that we came well to know and like in NXT are now no longer these 5 characters, and we're just supposed to believe there's somebody else or somebody new. Because here's the kicker: in the 6-man tag match, which featured Shane Thorne, Dominic Dijakovic, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, and Dio Madden, well, we learned their new names. Dio Madden is no longer Dio Madden. And if you don't remember Dio Madden did some commentating, a few months back before he was attacked brutally by Brock Lesnar. So, what is Dio Madden's new name? Under his mask? Under his quote-unquote, I don't know if this is a Bane character or just a reject character of what they couldn't do with Dean Ambrose, because he was not going to play the game, and neither should these three guys. They should say, no, we're not playing this game. But anyways, fact of the matter, Dio Madden's new name is now Mace. Mace, yes. Like a villain from a Batman series, like one of the henchmen to the Joker, Mace. And then Dominik Dijakovic is now going to be known as T-Bar. T-Bar. Let me repeat that one more time for you so you hear me clearly and correctly. T-Bar. Dominik Dijakovic has gone from a name that actually sounds interesting and makes me want to go, who is this guy, to a guy named T-Bar. Why? And that's not even the worst. Shane Thorne, who was a former tag team in NXT, and I believe the NXT titles were on him and his partner for a short while. Well, maybe Stevie Ray gave him this name, but it's Slapjack. So, 3 of the 5 members of Retribution have been identified as Mace, T-Bar, and Slapjack. We still have yet to hear the names or come to know the new identities of Mia Yim and Mercedes Martinez. But I'm sure we'll learn next week just what we're going to be calling Mia Yim and Mercedes Martinez. And with names like Mace, T-Bar, and Slapjack, it doesn't give me much hope. It doesn't give me much reason to believe anything good can come from it all, because this is complete and utter garbage. This is just a joke. I mean, I don't even know where to go with this. And then the match ended in a DQ, and then we had a bunch of other characters in black come down as Retribution to help pin the rest of the Hurt Business. And then Drew McIntyre's music hit, and he poured out of the locker room, and all hell broke loose in this chaos, and this storyline's garbage. And I plead to you, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, that you will end this. Just end it. It went bad. It went sour. You came up with crappy names. You didn't try. You didn't care. You didn't give a fudge. And now you're selling garbage on your TV show, and you wonder why your ratings are in the trash. And why the USA Network is coming at you going, hey, this isn't working. Who would have thought in any day and age, if you would have talked about this in the 1990s in the Attitude Era, one day WWE may not be on the USA Network, that they may get dropped by the network. Not that they went somewhere else, because, yeah, we know they left USA and went to the TNN channel, and we're over there for a little bit before coming back, but they left on their choice. Nobody would ever have said that WWE and Monday Night Raw would get dropped by the USA Network. That maybe at some point Raw would no longer be an episode. The longest running episodic television show is about to get canceled. And at the rate they're going, it deserves to be canceled. And yes, Vince, you deserve to be canceled. You're feeding garbage. You have given up. You have no spirit. You have no heart. You have no drive. You're nothing but a frail shell of the man that used to know how to make wrestling interesting. And I don't know if it's you or the people you had around you, but good God, what you're presenting today is garbage. And it's time for somebody to take the reins and make the change. And I mean, we're still hit or miss with NXT. We get a good week of NXT, we get a bad week of NXT. It's just like AEW. Get a good week of maybe AEW, get a bad week of AEW. Get a crappy week of AEW. What the hell's going on? This is not what casual fans could be liking in wrestling. This could not be what the casual fans are going, this is entertaining. Give me a break. And Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes, Young Butts, Matt, Nick, Kenny Omega. If you do not get AEW on the right track, if you do not give us something to redeem yourselves and redeem professional wrestling, the art and the sport that you like, it's not going to be around much longer. Not on the grand scale it is. Places like Ring of Honor may hold on. And right now, Impact may hold on. NWA's been around for a long time and they're still holding on. But I think the big companies are about to fall. They're about to crumble. They're about to topple. Impact's been lucky. They've survived by a heartbeat. And right now, they're looking like a better alternative than WWE itself. AEW, I don't know what's going on there, and I don't know what Tony Khan's doing. I mean, you would think a wrestling fan who has a pure love for wrestling would be able to bring a wrestling show together. But Tony Khan, all the gimmick matches, they're getting worn out. There's no storylines there. There's nothing to follow. You're not building stars. You're not getting me characters to get behind. You're giving me a whole bunch of people doing different things that switch up every week, which is great in something, but I don't see the long-term storyline. And Cody, I understand that maybe you're not a babyface. Maybe you're not a heel. Maybe you're just a tweener. Or maybe you're just a babyface that allows himself to get a little bit dirty to get the job done. End of the day, wrestling's about the good guy and the bad guy. Because that's what every story's about. The fact of the matter is that you have to have the hero, the anti-hero, the underdog. That one person that you can get behind and believe in, that they're going to be able to overcome or do whatever it is that they need to do. And you have to have the antagonist. You have to have that villain. You have to have that reason, that cause, that something on the other side that's going to be the forebearer, the brick wall. The reason that the anti-hero, the hero, the good guy, the underdog, whatever you want to call him, can't make it through. And this is what makes professional wrestling great. If you look back, it's all about what makes professional wrestling great. It's the storylines that were told. Hulk Hogan wouldn't have been great if he didn't have all the villains that he had to overcome. I mean, let's go back to Yokozuna. And Yokozuna being the villainous sumo wrestler from Japan who came over and was wrestling havoc and took the title. And then Hulk Hogan, of course, at WrestleMania 9 came in after Bret Hart was cheated out of the title to stand up and do what's right and won the title from Yokozuna. So, shady reasons and probably not the best example. But we've learned about the underdog. We've seen the rise of Hulk Hogan in the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, face versus face works sometimes. Two sides of the big heroes coming together, the greater powers. Two immovable forces coming together, colliding as one, which writes a great storyline. But what about the rising of the young boy who had a dream of becoming a WWE champion, who started as a tag team competitor, who eventually went heel and ran amok and wound up as the Intercontinental champion, eventually had a chain of heart and rose to his rightful place in WrestleMania 12 and became WWE champion. That's a storyline you can get behind. You believe, you have faith in that. Just like Bret the Hitman Hart and his rise and his breakaway after he left the Hart Foundation, went on a solo career to become the Intercontinental champion and the World champion. Ric Flair would not be great without Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes wouldn't have been the American dream, baby, without the Nature Boy Ric Flair. It wouldn't have worked if there wasn't a heel and a baby face. It wouldn't exist. Wrestling as we know it wouldn't work. Austin wouldn't be able to rise to the top without a villainous Vince McMahon. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson wouldn't have been able to become The Rock without becoming a heel first. Triple H wouldn't have become the cerebral assassin without being one of the greatest heels in the business. There are great heels, and it takes a lot to be a heel. Not every wrestler can be a heel. It really is. It takes a different level of caliber of a person that can put themselves in that role and be the heel, to sell it as a heel, to get heat on them and create heat. And it's up to the babyface to also help build that heat and write the storyline and the natural storyline of the great guy, the bad guy coming along and taking away from the good guy and holding him down and not allowing him to get ahead, just for the baby face to be down and knocked out. And just when we think he can't make it back, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, here he comes for his redemption, and he topples that horrible villain and becomes the savior that we're meant to be, or they're meant to be. The only thing that went good on Raw, so I'll give this to Seth Rollins, his promo lines when with the Mysterios and Aaliyah walking out and him sitting there going, "Oh, I didn't mean to cause a rip, but I guess even the Mysterio family, it happens too." And he said it, and he spoke it with such poise and such ways of acting like you really believed he felt sorry. And that is a great antagonist. That is a great villain. I don't always agree with everything he does, and kind of sour on his character at times, but right then he got me. Unfortunately, it's unlike Roman Reigns, who we don't know where he stands, and I hopefully at the Clash of Champions we get a better image of where he stands. But if the news and rumors are true on that point, then it's going to be a damn shame, because this whole thing's going to be a waste of time. Because if Vince McMahon is backing out of the fact of making Roman Reigns heels because he's worried about what it's going to do to the reputation of Roman Reigns and his younger clientele and the people who buy his merchandise, that they're going to make him a little bit of a tweener, then you've screwed up and you missed the train again, Vince. See, Vince, you're not getting it, because what you're worried about is money. And I'm going to tell you something. Giving the wrestling fans what they want is going to put the money in your pocket. Giving the wrestling fans what they don't want is just going to pull fans away. It's going to drop ratings. So you can go get the fans that you think, like the young kids who ask their parents to go buy stuff for them, and say this is the crowd you want to appease to. But the bigger money is the real fans, the diehard fans, the fans that will stand beside you and go through the gates of hell with you, the ones who will jump in the trenches when you go to war, just like we did when WCW and WWE went head-to-head on Monday Night Raw, and we had one of the greatest eras in professional wrestling called the Monday Night Wars, and people were on their sides. There were people in the WCW trenches rooting them back in WCW, and then there was the fans that were in the trenches with WWE that were fighting and ready to go to war with them. And Vince McMahon, that's what you've done. You've taken those of us that have grown up through that era, who rode that high, who supported you through it all, who wanted to see WWE come out on top, who wanted to see WWE rise up and become the best and greatest wrestling promotion in the world. You took in those fans and you pushed them aside and said, thanks for what you did to get me here, but I no longer need you. And if you're a wrestling fan from the 90s, through that era, through the Monday Night Wars, from the Attitude Era, if you're a wrestling fan from then, then you should feel utterly disgusted. You should feel embarrassed, you should feel insulted, and you should feel attacked, because that's what Vince McMahon has done. He has come right after you and said, yeah, he really has. He's really basically said, I don't care about you. I don't care about the fact that you were in the trenches with me when I was going to war with Eric Bischoff and WCW and Ted Turner. Don't care about you anymore because I don't need you. And that's what Vince does to every wrestler. When he doesn't need him, he throws him aside. When he doesn't have a storyline for him or doesn't have any use for him, he's like, I don't need you. And he tosses him aside. It's like a kid with toys. When they have their toys that they've been playing with for a while, and you go down to the store and you buy them a new one and you give it to them, and it's a new toy, what happens to those old toys? They get tossed aside and they don't get played with anymore because they're old. And that's what Vince McMahon has done to us. Vince McMahon has taken the wrestling fans of the Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars, those that rode that train, rode that ride up and down, the highs and the lows, and sat there in the trenches ready to battle and ready to fight. He's turned against us. He's turned and said, you know what, screw you. I got your money, and now I don't need you. But Vince, guess what? The people that rode that ride with you are the people that are having the kids that are asking to buy their merchandise. And you know what, Vince, eventually there's going to come a day where we're going to say no. There's going to come a day when that money train is going to dry up, Vince, because you keep putting crap on your TV. And one day, Vince, the TV network's going to come to you and go, look, you're not hitting the ratings that you want to, and we got a better show to put in that slot on Monday night. And then Fox, you got this new deal with Fox. You think Fox is going to keep tolerating this crap on SmackDown? Vince, you need to wake up. You need to get your head out of your ass, Vince. You need to look at what Triple H has done with NXT that's been successful. You need to look at people who have been successful recently in the industry and stop bringing back garbage like Bruce Pritchard. I find myself watching more and more than James E. Cornette experience and agree with James E. Cornette. And to a lot of people, that's probably shocking and that's disgusting. A lot of people are like ready to attack James E. Cornette and they're ready to attack him and come after him and pick fights with him. And there's people out there that are trying to go to war with him just to get attention. But I'm like sitting here going, you know what? Mr. Cornette, you're right. The business is garbage. What they're doing in AEW is garbage. What they're doing in WWE is garbage. Hell, AEW almost killed Matt Hardy live. Crazy gimmick matches. Tony Khan, Mr. Tony Khan. If you want to make wrestling great and you're a fan as much as you are, then let's let the fandom rise. And maybe it's time to reach out to some of us out here and say, hey, what would you want to see? What do you think is not working? What is working? Because you know what, Tony? I'm ready to stand up. I'd be happy to come to Jacksonville, Florida. I used to live in Brevard County, Florida. Ain't no problem. I'll come down there. I will help you. I don't have a degree that's on a piece of paper from some significant college that's going to tell you I'm some great writer. But I can tell you I know how to write, and I can tell you I can come up with some great ideas about some great storylines to build some great wrestlers in your company. And I'd be happy to learn to meet all the wrestlers that are there and figure out who they are and what they're about, just so we can write better TV, because that's what it's about. Because we've gotten away from wrestling, and Eric Bischoff did it great when he brought in the NWO, because we knew these characters. He took them by their real names, and he just turned them up by a bit. Let them go wild. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're doing nowadays with all these crazy wrestlers and gimmicks and ideas is... Look, The Fiend came on the air a year ago. 1 year later, we're all like, it's cool. It's kind of cool to watch the thing, but every time we get excited about it, they kill it. And we know we're heading into a Fiend Roman Reigns feud, and I think we're all kind of like, unless Roman Reigns does what he needs to do, and he needs to annihilate Jey Uso at Clash of the Champions. It doesn't need to be an even battle. Not if the news and rumors are true about Clash of the Champions this Sunday, it's going to be a damn shame. If it's a competitive match between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, then it's a total loss. It's a total complete loss, and it's not going to be worth it. It's going to be a damn shame. It's going to be a waste of an opportunity. Roman Reigns needs to go in there and just obliterate Jey Uso. I don't even care if they go 10, 15 minutes in the fact that Roman Reigns jumps Jey before the match even starts and beats him all around the arena and beats him up and then throws him in the ring and spears him a couple times. I don't care if Roman beats him all up all over the ring and totally beats him up. Jey doesn't need any offense, and then throws him in the ring, hits him with the spear, and then Jey starts sitting up to give a little redemption, like he's going to try and stand, and then have Roman hit him with another spear, and then have him try to stand up, hit him with another spear, until he just can't get up anymore, and then the 1, 2, 3. I can live with that, but otherwise this match has to be totally, completely dominated by Roman Reigns. There can't be any inkling of anything of Jey Uso coming back or getting a fair match, unless you're going to go with tweener Roman Reigns, and they go with tweener Roman Reigns, and screw it. It's a joke. It's heel Roman Reigns or it's nothing. And if you can't figure that out, Vince, if you can't figure that out by now, then Vince, step away. Go away, Vince McMahon, because you suck at your job. Truly, truly do. WWE stock is down. Viewership's down. Everything's going to crap. And we can blame COVID all you want, Vince, but we know the truth, Vince. The people would still be watching if it was good. But it's not. Retribution's a joke. What you're doing is a joke. And I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's time for the fans of wrestling to step up and say, no, we won't take it. No, we're not going to take it. Yes. Dee Snider it's a damn shame that we're coming to this and that we need something new, that we need something fresh, and we need something to change, and we need something to change now because Vince McMahon is heading us a pile of crap, a hot, steaming pile of crap, and telling us we have to eat it, and I'm saying no. No more. And Tony Khan, AEW is supposed to be this different, this other option, and it's still cloudy, milky mess, too many gimmick matches, too much chaos. And wrestlers that probably shouldn't even be wrestling. Wrestling needs to get better, and it needs to get better fast. And the wrestling fans need to hold the people in charge accountable. Now, AEW does have some bright spots. Brody Lee has a decent character that's kind of doing something. Orange Cassidy's coming into his own. Darby Allin looks like a great character that's going to grow. Jon Moxley's kind of found his place there, but unfortunately they're setting Jon Moxley on a course that I can't even tell you what the end result's going to be because he's ran through everybody. Now, of course, he could fall into the murder hawk monster in November. But I don't know. Is Lance Archer built strong enough to be the one to go over Jon Moxley and take the AEW championship? Possibly, but still, I don't know. I think the best option would really be Miro. I would take Miro away from Kip Sapien and put Miro out there and make him just this dominant beast, make him undefeated, and go into the beginning of next year so he becomes the main guy, and let him and Moxley fight and let Miro win. I think that would definitely be the right person to do that with. But again, if you do that, then who's going to take the belt off Miro? Or even Lance Archer. Of course, you could do Lance Archer wins the title, and then he has to give his match to Brian Cage. But still, if you give it to Brian Cage, then who's going to take it off Brian Cage? There's not enough people built up in AEW to carry on the storylines. I mean, Hangman Page can be there. Maybe Hangman Page is the next in line after Jon Moxley drops the title to Lance Archer or Miro or MJF or whoever to come around, and he comes riding in on his horse as a good guy and does what he finally needs. But I mean, I don't know. I don't believe it yet. There's nothing wrong with long-term booking if it's done right. And there are plenty of people out here in the IWC that know how to do long-term booking, who can give you a story. Man, I could sit here and tell you how to bring back CM Punk. I could tell you about how to build Moxley versus Miro versus, and then eventually Hangman Page and get MJF involved. I could rewrite the story of Retribution itself. Of course, I would get rid of the cast members and let them go back to their own name and start in a different way. I mean, it might be a little harder because I'd probably go back and get some of the people that were let go from the company and bring them in as Retribution, because that would be what Retribution's all about. Where do we go from here? I don't know. But right now, wrestling stands in the forefront of being a total joke, and Vince McMahon is at the head of this snake. And Vince McMahon should be ashamed of himself. Vince McMahon should not allow what is going out should not be allowing what is going down on his TV, because it's a joke and it's a pile of steaming crap and it's bullshit. Vince, it's bullshit what you're feeding us, and I don't know what to tell you anymore. And people can sit here and say, don't watch it. If you don't like it, don't watch it. When you're as passionate about wrestling, you want to see wrestling hit the high points that it was once at, you're going to fight for it. It's like you're going to fight for anything you believe in. And the matter of the fact is, I'm here to fight for wrestling. And I'm here to fight for the real fans of wrestling to say that we need a change and it's got to come now. And whether it be Tony Khan and AEW giving us something better, or it's Vince McMahon and WWE finally turning the corner and coming out and showing us what they used to have, I don't know. Maybe it's Impact. Maybe Impact rises as the or as the magical phoenix from the ashes of what it once was and redeems itself and washes itself with the bad taste that we have when we think about Impact, because Impact's still related to TNA, and for a lot of us, we have a bad taste in our mouths because of what TNA and Impact Wrestling was. But Impact Wrestling now has come a long ways from what it was then, and has some decent characters. And of course, NWA Power, or NWA in itself, is making a jump to stand back up and say, hey, we're here too, come look at us. Ring of Honor should be returning soon, and we'll see what Ring of Honor does. So, we have a lot of independence, and the territorial days used to work out great, and maybe it's time to step back and go back to the old way of doing things. I don't know for sure, but right now what's going down isn't working, and it's time for a change. And I don't know if that's removing Vince McMahon from his position and allowing somebody else to take over who has a passion, who actually gives a care, who wants to see WWE be successful, wants to see the world of professional wrestling be successful, or sports entertainment, whatever you want to dub it. You can dub it professional wrestling, you can dub it sports entertainment, but at some point, I want my wrestling back. And that's what it's about. I want my wrestling back. I want the wrestling that I know exists. I want the wrestling where stars like Finn Balor can rise to the top and show just how amazing they are, how Shinsuke Nakamura should be one of the biggest stars in WWE, but gets cited to a tag team with Cesaro. Cesaro in itself is amazing too, and should have been a world champion. I mean, there's several stars. Robert Roode, the glorious Bobby Roode, whatever you want to call him, should be on TV, and he should be right there in the midst of it. He should be a dominant heel rising to the top to get the Universal or WWE World Championship. There are plenty of stars and characters that are there, that are available, that they just need to use, but they keep holding back. We had a great storyline with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano going on until Vince brought him up to the main roster. Tommaso Ciampa got hurt and got it taken out, and so we couldn't get the storyline that was written so gloriously then. Ciampa's going to make a great heel. Johnny Gargano is one of the great baby faces who's playing a great role as a heel. Finn Balor, Seth Rollins is his own right. I'll give him his credit where credit's due. The Fiend is a great storyline that can grow. Roman Reigns can be great if given the opportunity to be himself. If they stop trying to make him what they want to make him and just let Roman Reigns be brutal in himself. I mean, when we see Roman Reigns come out and speak for himself, and he's honest and he's playing himself and he's turning it up a little bit, man, Roman Reigns should be great. But right now, the nightmares just keep continuing, and then we're getting presented in SmackDown this Otis storyline with the Miz, with the got to give up the Money Bank contest, you're gonna be sued, and there's talks about Happy Machinery breaking up, which makes no sense because you have no tag teams in WWE. So why are we gonna break up another tag team? And what are you gonna do with Otis and Tucker by themselves? You're gonna have them feud against one another, but then what? Then what? Is Otis a main eventer? Is Otis anything but the next Santino Marella for you, Vince McMahon? Is that what it is? Is Otis going to be your new Santino Marella, your biggest joke in professional wrestling? You're going to make him the comedy laugh, ha-ha. You're going to let him feel like he's something because you're going to bring him up to the upper mid-carders, maybe put an Intercontinental title, U.S. title on him, but you're never going to give him the world title because you really don't care, because he's just the type of guy that you want to make fun of and have him make you laugh. Tucker, what's going to happen to Tucker? Tucker's going to get dropped to the side, probably get released, because you're not going to know what to do with Tucker, because who's Tucker? Ain't even giving us really heavy machinery. I mean, hell, you destroyed War Machine, and now you got the Viking Raiders. Vince, quit killing what's good. Quit killing wrestling. My God, get rid of the 24/7 title because it's a joke. Sorry, R-Truth. I know you're doing everything you can with that title, making it entertaining, making it relevant, but God, it needs to go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the big-time BT Ball. This is the Value Wrestling Podcast. This is my rant. I can't rant anymore because it's just ridiculous. I'm going to run myself in circles. If you like this message tonight, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. If you would, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. So every time we upload a video here on the Value Wrestling Podcast, you will be notified of our newest and hottest content, because we're going to be doing a lot of stuff. They had another event today, the UWN or whatever it is. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Happened tonight, so we will be reviewing that, watching that real soon. We have some other reviews coming up. We are going to do, of course, the Clash of Champions Clash of Champions is coming up on Sunday, so we will be doing a review. We'll be watching that, and we'll be doing a review of that show and the fallout of everything going on there. So do understand we are here and we are trying to grow. We need you to not only subscribe to us, but please share each one of these videos. If you like this video, go back into the archive, watch some of the older videos. Yes, there's not a whole lot, but we're building to become one of the biggest content creators of wrestling podcasting here, and trying to join the IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community, so we can be a voice for those of us who need it. We want to be the voice in the IWC. We want to be the voice in the sport of professional wrestling that's out here saying, hey, this is what's going on. This is how it can be better. This is how it can be greater. This is what we like. This is what we don't like. We're going to call an ace an ace, and we're going to call a spade a spade, and we're going to call out garbage just like today. Because Vince McMahon is feeding garbage to us all with the Retribution and what he did tonight, or what he did on Monday Night Raw, what he allowed to happen on Monday Night Raw. He slowly killed the career of five great stars that would have came out in NXT if played right. And why did they need to change their name? Why did they have any of this? And why are they in Retribution when they were in NXT doing great? And where were they held back? And what has held them back from achieving the success that they could have? Other than the fact that they got demoted to the main roster. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Big Time BT Boulder. This is the Value Wrestling Podcast. Again, I tell you, if you like the content tonight, go ahead and hit those thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you're notified. And I thank you for joining me. And I hope you'll be here next time when we do another Value Wrestling Podcast. Good night.